Alright, what's going on? Just gonna give this a minute. I still don't know, like, I don't know if live streams work properly on this channel yet. I'm still trying to figure that out. Basically, everything got nuked after the ban. I think basically I just have to keep on showing up until it's gone. That's kind of my hypothesis so far. Welcome in, everyone. What's going on? How are we all doing? Welcome into the live stream. We have Bitcoin sitting at 88,700 here. And what's going on, guys? Welcome in. Welcome in. We got Bitcoin sitting at 88,600. We are also, this is the first multi-platform stream that we've ever done. And in addition to that, well, let me just test that this is all working fine. I just want to give people a minute to get in here as well. Welcome into the stream, everyone. Those of you just tuning in here. What's going on? I'm going to catch up with the live chat here in just a sec. You already know the deal. Let me know where in the world you guys are, what's going on, all that good stuff. Alright, I think, yeah, we're also live on Rumble, which is sick. I think we literally don't have any viewers on Rumble. Oh, no, we have one viewer on Rumble. Is that me? Rumble, I'm interested in Rumble. The reason I'm interested in Rumble is because eventually, you know, unless YouTube really sorts their shit out, we're all going to end up there. You know, and I've seen that they actually really support their creators when their creators get cancelled, which I really respect. You know, it's nice to have a platform that kind of looks out for the creators a little bit. Anyway, that's not you guys' problem. What's up, guys? Welcome into the stream. How we all doing? We got Bitcoin sitting at 88,700, which is absolutely sick. Let's go ahead and get the stream live on Twitter as well. Fuck it. Since we're here, let's just go get this shit up on Twitter as well while we're at it. And I want to break down for you guys what this drop might mean for Bitcoin, where Bitcoin might be headed. We're kind of operating in the dark a tiny bit because I would like to know where the S&P 500 is going to be tomorrow. And for that, we would need the futures right here to start trading, but they don't start trading for another, like, couple of hours. Yeah, 2.5 hours until we see futures open here, which is fine. It's not a big deal. But that is something I like to look for. Let's just keep it on the Bitcoin chart here for now. Welcome into the live stream, everyone. Smash up those likes as you are coming in. Appreciate all the love. Thank you guys very much. We are streaming on multiple different platforms right now, so I'm going to be monitoring the YouTube chat right now, but I'll pull up Twitter as well in case there's anything on Twitter. I don't think there's going to be too much on Twitter. What's up, guys? Welcome into the stream. Who we got here? We got the Wage, the End to Come, Joffrey, Thomas. What's going on, Thomas? Peter, Agent Ire, James. What's going on, James? Egos? What's up, Egos? What's going on, guys? Welcome into the stream. Thank you all for tuning in. Smash up those likes. Let's take a look at this. So, support down at 80,000. A really nice bounce off this same level at 84. Do you know what? Let me restart this and record. All right, we're recording. So, support bounce off 80,000 here. Another bounce off 84. That allows us to draw this line. We're now getting attempt number 3 at this level here. And that's not actually particularly bad. That's actually pretty good. If this level holds. Okay, it's a big if. If this level holds here, we're actually pretty good because, I mean, we spent a lot of time kind of trying to break resistance. It makes sense that we come back down and just test that, you know, we still have support. You know, if we lose this level, that's going to tell the bears that there's a pretty weak rally and they're going to be able to drive the market a lot lower. And it's also going to tell the bulls that there just isn't that much steam here. But if this level does end up getting defended, then I think it's going to be quite easy for Bitcoin to travel back up to the, kind of resistance box here, which sits at about $93,000. Shout out to everyone in the live chat. I see you guys commenting here. I'll go through those comments here in a bit, the live chat. But resistance up at about 93,000, 94,000. That's kind of what I'd be looking at here in this market. And if we are able to perform well off this level here, then we're potentially looking at a breakout. Now, I do have to say, Capo, and I don't know how many of you guys know about Capo, but Capo is like a forever bear. He's actually pretty damn bullish on the market right now. And I find it funny that he's bullish on the market right now because almost nobody else is. And so we've got essentially the most bearish guy in the space getting kind of bullish at the moment. And rightfully saying things like, hey, if Bitcoin smashes through resistance at 95K, we're probably going up to 100, right? Up here. It's like, well, actually, that's pretty obvious. I completely agree with that take. And we're seeing a little bit of a support hit right now, a tiny setback. But let me tell you what, I don't know what kind of move this is that we see right now for Bitcoin. This move right here, right? This one that just sent Bitcoin down by a couple thousand. I don't know what kind of price action this is, okay? But I can speculate. And the reason I feel like I can speculate is because the market hasn't tried to hide it from us over the last couple of weeks. All right, we look at this shit from 26th November onwards, which is now like 2.5 weeks ago. And this market has been constant BART patterns. It's been constant BART patterns up and down and on all sorts of time frames. We got like 3 over here inside of that circle. And so if we understand that this price action is completely inorganic because it's all BART patterns, and BART patterns means that it's liquidity hunting, and liquidity hunting is done exclusively by bots, which means not human traders, which means inorganic price action. If we understand that that's what we're looking at, then the next logical conclusion that we might want to draw is that, okay, well, if there is this clear market manipulation at play, well, market manipulation doesn't decide which way the market's going to go typically, right? It's still like organic elements of supply and demand that will have the biggest effect on where price may or may not go in the future. And so I don't really care too much about the manipulation in front of me, but I need to recognize it for what it is. And I need that to tell me that, for example, when we got this hit from resistance, or the subsequent rise back up, or the subsequent drop back down, it was useful for me to know, because it was really glaringly obvious by this point, that the market is not experiencing organic price action. And so a drop like this, or a subsequent recovery like this, or a subsequent drop like this, all broadly mean nothing. And the reason they don't mean anything to me is because it's not humans causing this price action. It's just bots looking for zones where, they can just fucking liquidate people. That's literally what's happening. And so, it's these larger time frame levels, this diagonal support that I've had drawn on stream for you guys here today. It's these larger time frame levels that are going to hold a lot more true than this really kind of short-term intraday fluctuation stuff that we've been getting with all of this manipulation. It's a lot more likely, and by a massive stretch in my experience, that it's these longer term levels that are going to hold when we're getting these kind of price action. Now, that doesn't mean it has to hold. And Bitcoin does have some signs that are kind of working against it. We're going to be going through those in a minute here. I do want you guys to smash up those likes here on this YouTube stream if you haven't done so already. Help us push this out. We are still suppressed by the algorithm after getting banned by the communists, but hopefully that doesn't last too long. We are multi-platform streaming right now, which is pretty cool. And there is a stream on X as well, I believe. Yeah, there was also Rumble, but now I've lost the URL to the Rumble. That's really funny. We'll take a look at that later. That's no stress at all. But there are a couple things that are still kind of working against Bitcoin. Obviously Bitcoin's in a downtrend. And if we take a look at Bitcoin and its kind of price action that it's at right now, just looking at it kind of for what it is, this is a bearish, pattern, it's pretty clear. We've got you know, a pretty nice, easy, predictable support zone there. But, you know, you can even draw resistance looking a little bit like this. That's totally valid, in my opinion. That's totally valid. And, I mean, this is like, you know, one of the most bearish things the market can produce. You know, and we really only confirm it if we get the breakdown. Because the thing is, we can also draw this, you know, this is an ascending triangle, right? You draw this shit as an ascending triangle, and okay, it's still kind of bearish because it's happening inside of a downtrend, and that really counts for a lot. You know, the pre-existing trend is going to have a pretty big impact on where the market might go moving forward. And that's in all situations in my experience. However, you know, even with that in mind, you know, we really need to prove it. You know, it's not enough to have this pattern and then do nothing with it. And I think the reason that Bitcoin hasn't really done anything with it yet is because the S&P hasn't done anything. You know, I mean, up until Friday, which was 2 days ago now, the S&P 500 was literally flirting with all-time highs. I mean, it was so close to all-time highs. In fact, according to some people, it set all-time highs. Although I don't see how that was true, but I'm pretty sure I saw that somewhere. So, you know, pretty bullish posture, right? But if the S&P 500 doesn't actually produce a breakout, if it doesn't actually pump essentially into the $7,000 area or 7,000 point area for the S&P 500, if that doesn't happen, then I kind of don't, you know, like it's going to be difficult to see how Bitcoin is going to get its positive breakout. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see Bitcoin doing it on its own. Bitcoin doesn't have that kind of strength behind it right now. I mean, I'm sure eventually that's going to come. By the way, we're very close to that like target here. Smash them up if you haven't done so already, you legends. Thank you all very much. You know, I don't really see how that's going to happen. You know, how Bitcoin's going to pull itself up, you know, and just be bullish on its own. Now, eventually, I think we're going to get there. You know, I think that these markets are going to have their ebbs and flows. You know, they're going to, you know, they're just going to be cyclical in this way. And I think that's what we're seeing. But right now, I don't think we're in one of those situations. Right now, I think we're in one of those situations where, hey, you know, like bears have an uncomfortable amount of leverage over this market right now. And they don't have to do too much at this point. You know, if they drive this shit down to 84, 85K, that's already a breakout out of this pattern. And, I mean, it's not the end of the world if that happens. We can totally come back down, set a, you know, more macro higher low, and then continue. You know, like, that has happened before. That would make a lot of sense. In fact, the last time that Bitcoin found itself inside of this price range, that is exactly what happened. You know, Bitcoin in this price range set a low, you know, then it set a nice higher low. It kind of, you know, it kind of started to form patterns similar to, honestly, it's really similar, you know, this whole situation right here. You know, like if we just draw a trend line, like we're almost looking at the same kind of situation again in the market. And we can see how this ended up playing out, right? Like, it didn't end up, you know, working too well for Bitcoin. And Bitcoin didn't, you know, really find too much support off this kind of diagonal line. And that's even though it punched in a nice low, and then it had a higher low on a, you know, kind of macro scale. And then, you know, it was trying to break resistance in the 90s, couldn't really do it, ended up collapsing. But, you know, this is the thing, is that when that collapse came in, yes, we set a lower low, but by how much? You know, I mean, our low went from 78,300 down to 76,700. So that's, you know, like a $1,400 move or something, or less than that, isn't it? That's like $700 or something. I mean, pretty small price move there. What is this? 1,600, 1,700. My bad. I'm obviously fucking terrible at math. And then we set an even lower low at 74,500. And so, you know, and this is all to say that, you know, we lost essentially the kind of same bullish structure that Bitcoin has right now, you know, but then Bitcoin ended up doing something that looked a little bit like this, and it's still, you know, and it still produced an incredible rally that set new all-time highs. And by the way, you know, because everyone's being so emotional about this, and everybody is being so, I don't know, just childish about what this market is doing. I mean, from the low to the high that the market set, this is a 68% move. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if you were positioned in shitcoins, you know, this whole time, and you didn't see any of this rise because, I don't know, you just thought that your fucking meme coin was going to do better, then, you know, like, that was you, bro. Like, that was you that did that to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, this market has had these setups that have been, I don't want to say they're obvious. That's almost rude, right? But they haven't been that difficult either. You know, like the basic premise has been park up in Bitcoin until it's ready to speculate on alts. You know, until we're ready for that. And if you're misreading that, then okay, you can give yourself pity points, but that's kind of like the only important thing you needed to get right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, beyond that, like there's very few things that I think are actually that important in this market. And so, you know, messing up one of them is a pretty big cost. And this is one of those things that realistically it's quite hard to get this right unless, you know, you do know what you're doing, unless you are trained, unless you're following good processes and systems and you're not just winging it every time you approach these markets. That's what BroFi's for. That's what BroFi's for, okay? Look, this isn't going to be perfect. It's certainly high risk. You could certainly lose your money, but this is a program where you're getting direct access to me and the tools and strategies that I use. We've been seeing some pretty incredible transformations from traders inside of this group. I've been getting private DMs of successful stories. I've been getting, you know, people posting inside of the group chat, which is absolutely amazing as well. Look, not everyone's going to have a great ride. That's for sure. But this is a pretty powerful package we've already put together. We're also putting out weekly lives where I'm giving you in-depth analysis on my own setups, my own trades that I'm looking at, my own investments. Really, really cool stuff. That's every Thursday, 8 p.m. UK time. And they've been incredible. They've been one of my favorite things with this program here. It's $100 to join, so if you think you might be interested, it's going to be linked at the very top of the description. Check it out. Keep in mind that trading and investing carry significant risk. You can lose all of your money. But if you think you might be interested despite that, then definitely check out that link in the description below. And while you are there, Bybit and Blofin remain the best exchanges in the game. Bybit is obviously, you know, they've been standing incredibly tall and proud for a very long time. Very, very stable platform. Which is absolutely incredible, and heavy bonuses when you sign up and start trading using this platform as well, which is absolutely sick. Blofin is even more aggressive with the bonuses. They don't go as high as $30,000, but you get the bonuses a little bit easier. So check them both out if you're interested, and if you're not from a restricted region. Let's bring it back to the video here, though, for a second here. How are you guys doing? Shout out to those of you in the live chat. It's good to be live again. Smash up those likes if you're enjoying this stream so far. Let me know how you guys are doing in the live chat. How are we feeling? We feeling bullish or bearish in this market here? You know, we've covered quite a bit. I've got a lot more I want to cover. I honestly haven't even gone through a lot of the main points I want to cover with you guys today. So smash up the likes for that. But what's going on, guys? It's good to be back. It's good to be streaming. See what you guys are saying. Fred Stone says the rate cut was not enough for the S&P 500. Both were going down. I mean, you know, we got to see, man. We got to see. We also got the government shutdown happening again in a couple of weeks. And I was thinking of making a dedicated video on it. You know, what does the government shutdown mean in data, you know, for these markets? I was thinking of making a video like that for you guys here as well, because I think that'd be a pretty interesting kind of deep dive. I wanted to do the same thing on... There was a couple others, just a more general one about, you know, what is this Trump administration doing for crypto? I mean, I know they've signed a lot of executive orders, but that's just words. What have they actually done? Well, there are a couple things moving in Congress now to actually codify into law what these executive orders have been kind of expressing that they want to do. You know, now they're trying to turn it into laws in the different chambers of government in the United States. So, you know, that's going to be something really interesting to keep track of that I'm personally going to be watching. And I'm going to be also probably making some content on that for you guys here on this channel, on X, wherever you guys are watching. We'll be posting that out there as well. So that's pretty cool. But cool stuff. Let me just take a look at if the stream held. It's first time managing a multi-stream, and it's just kind of a tiny bit new for me here, but you know, nothing crazy. I've wanted to do this for a while. You know what it was, guys? I was just lazy, honestly. That was literally what it was. I just didn't want to. Cryptic Priest says he's got a $65 Davidoff cigar chilling in Phoenix, Arizona. Bullish AF. Hell yeah, dude. Enjoy the cigar. Enjoy it. I'm not much of a cigar guy, man. I'm brown. I'm not as white as you guys. Hey, I'm glad we could be a little bit like, you know, I can't even say the R word here on this platform here, but I'm glad we can be a little bit more open about skin color now and just kind of like fuck around with it a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, oh my God. Like, for a while, it was like, you can't even, like, you know, no, he's African-American. You can't say he's black. You know, it was like, it got weird, you know? But the truth is, bro, I'm a brownie. Like, You know what I mean? Like we don't really do cigars where I'm from. Like it's kind of just shisha, you know. I'm a hookah guy. You already know. What's up, Morzarabi? Good to see you in the live chat. What's going on? Let's take a look at. Hang on, I got a little bit of lag here on my. I just want to make sure you guys don't have lag as well on this stream. But I know, right? It's nice that we can kind of just talk now. And not be so worried about offending people. I think most people, for the most part, weren't even offended. It was just this like collective hive mind hallucination. It was the same shit. Anyway, let's not. I'm trying to keep the channel alive this time. Let's come back to the market. Let's come back to the market. And here's the thing. My son name is Sammy. Before I knew you, hell yeah, bro. Shout out to your son. Shout out to the Moroccan Sammy in the live chat. You legend. That is really really cool. So yeah, if Bitcoin loses this level, that's definitely going to be a setback, but we've already looked at market structure here. It doesn't have to be the end of the world. One of the last things I want to do with you guys on this point is I just want to show you, what the chart could look like if we repeat that. And this is kind of from the point that things got bad last time. This is kind of what we're looking at. So it's just really not that bad, right? Like if you've kind of got your panties knotted up, twisted, and you're not really super sure of, how you want to feel about this market, you lack conviction or you lack the ability to even develop conviction or any kind of flavor of those issues, then, this might be really scary for you. But, beyond that, I mean, this is kind of, pretty standard market structure stuff that we're seeing here. And if this is what we're going to be getting inside of this market, then, I don't think we're looking too bad. I mean, yeah, it's going to take a little bit longer, but, we have seen how this has gone before, and it just hasn't been that much of a problem. I mean, I know this is genuinely disappointing for a lot of people. A lot of people want to, stay convinced that actually the market's like super dead and it's really, really bad right now. But I don't think that's actually where we are. I think that we're, I think that if we don't get this, this collapse below support here, well, then we're again just coming down to a really good support level, capturing support. Basically developing this chart further. And on some level, we needed to do that. At some point, on some level, we needed to get here down to the support level and test it again. And if this is going to be it, and if this holds. I mean, I think we're really putting bears on their back foot, at this resistance level if we come back up to this resistance level again. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to your daughter in the live chat, Peter. Hell yeah, that's cool too. Yeah, Sammy is a cool name, man. I mean, what can I say? It's a cool name. But I mean, this is where the resistance is up ahead, and if we're getting that bounce, I think we're good. Now, again, back to the S&P 500. I think this is much more important. The S&P 500 is in, look, you're not going to convince me otherwise. The S&P is in bullish structure, okay? The S&P is going to be in bullish structure in my eyes all the way down to this low at about 65.21. But I don't even think we're going down that low right now. I think the Trump drama, for the White House and what's happening, broadly with the U.S. government is definitely something that can give us some instability in these markets. But put it this way, I think that's one of the reasons why these markets haven't broken out yet. I mean, the S&P has been trying to break out for a while. This is like almost a little bit unusual. It's been 16 days. It's going to be, more like 18 days by the end of this, 19, 20 days, come, like, what is this? This is like Monday, Tuesday, right? So tomorrow. Like we're getting up to like 3 weeks now where the S&P is kind of just consolidated at all-time highs. And look, I mean, it's consolidation at all-time highs. I mean, what do you want me to say about this, right? I mean, like it's textbook fucking bullish. It just is what it is. Like you're at all-time highs, and now you're moving sideways instead of getting rejected because there aren't enough bears selling this shit. Like that's bullish. I mean, it just is. It doesn't mean that we have to use it in a bullish way. It doesn't mean that it has to result in a move up, but more often than not, in my experience, that's what you're going to get. Okay, that's just what I think. Now, obviously, this is not financial advice. There's no guarantee of results. Do your own research, make your own decisions based on your judgment and your own risk tolerance. This disclaimer is really important. We've cleaned it up. We used to have a kind of immature one, telling you guys not to be an idiot, but I'm cleaning up. I'm 24 years old, so I'm maturing up a little bit now. And, this is where we're at. We're at a situation now where the S&P 500 is glued to this fucking ceiling, looking for a chance to break out. I mean, it's not like the government, like, where was the government shutdown on this chart? Can someone point it out to me, please? I got no idea. When did the government shutdown even end? I literally can't tell you. I don't know. I don't know. And I don't know because I don't give a shit. I literally don't care. Okay? And the reason I don't care is because the market doesn't care. So if the market ain't concerned with it, I'm not going to worry myself about it either. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's really important. I think we need a pressure release. We get one pressure release here. That's if the market can hold in this posture right now. If something knocks it before this pressure release, then what I'm saying doesn't work. But if the market can hold where it's at, and we get a pressure release, we get one bit of good news, we get one war that comes to an end, we get one positive trade negotiation, we get, honestly, a lot of different things could do it. We get one breakthrough AI model. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of different ways that it could happen. But one of those things, and I think we're seeing that break. I mean, these stocks want to break out. These stocks are not in a pattern that suggests bubble pop yet. They're just not. If it was a bubble pop, we should be so much lower by now. And we should have set dead cat bounces. We've done neither of those things. Tesla's continuing to consolidate at all-time highs. It's getting weak pullbacks. Tesla can't even pull off a significant pullback anymore. It's stuck above $400. Palantir, $183. Consolidating at all-time highs, basically moving sideways in this massive range here. Stretching between about 150 and 190. It's just moving sideways. I mean, this is just what the chart is doing right now. And meanwhile, we're getting a lot of people turning bearish. I mean, that's normal. Like, that's what you're supposed to see in these kind of situations in the market. And that's why they don't concern me. And that's why I think that, if we can't, save for some sort of, unexpected event, which can totally happen under Trump as president, but save for some sort of event like that, the markets don't look that bad. Already crashing. So you're causing the crash to get worse. That's what happened. What? Are we not streaming? Okay, I think it just went down. Yeah, I think I don't know why the stream dropped. I don't even have any errors on my side, but let me double check this. Hang on. Yeah, it doesn't even tell me that I've dropped frames or anything. That's kind of weird. Let me just make sure we are stable here. And I'm kind of approaching done here in this live stream as well. There's a couple more things I want to mention, but I'll be jumping off here in a minute. If you have enjoyed this one, you know what to do. Smash up those likes, all that good stuff. And I mean, I can't really deduce what's going wrong here, but honestly, it doesn't look like there's any issues anymore. It might have just been like a temporary thing. But yeah, thanks for sticking in. So pretty aggressive sell-off. So obviously, you're going to be expecting some sort of a reaction to that, and that's what I think we're still in. I think the fact that we got a $1,500 drop and everybody is just like really, really depressed again. I think that says a lot about the state of this market, and how honestly how unhealthy really many market participants are right now. That's what it comes down to for me. It just is what it is. I can't sugarcoat this. That's what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing that the market's just in a genuinely really unhealthy place. And it's in an unhealthy place. I can see that because we get these tiny $1,000 fluctuations, and it's like the market's dead now. Like, ignore these guys, ignore these losers. Don't be one of them if that's you. If that's you, you need to calm down. You need, you might want to join a group like BroFi. You might. I don't know. We've had people joining this environment, and we're calm in this group. You know what I mean? Like, one thing I really like about this group, something I really, really like, look, we're not going to have this forever. Like, the group is going to grow, and this isn't going to happen forever. But right now, if the market's not moving, if the market's not giving us anything, we're not fiending for shit in this group chat. This is how a lot of other group chats go. It's a bunch of fucking degens. And like every 5 minutes, they're logging on Binance trying to figure out what they can trade because they're broke as fuck. you know, and they want to like quickly make a bag. And hey, I get the hustle. I've been there myself, but that strategy obviously doesn't work. You know, the guys that we got inside of this group, they understand. They understand inside of BroFi here that we're being genuine traders here. We're being genuine market participants here. We can't rush the market. We're going to do what the market gives us. And if the market's not giving us anything, it's no drama. It's no drama. I think this is where everyone goes wrong. Everyone thinks you log on, you decide when you want to make money, you decide when you're going to start ripping gains. No. You know, it's this like stay where you are versus inside situation, right? You're chasing coins. You don't have a plan. You're never withdrawing. You don't exit cycles with a better balance. I mean, this is born out of a place that, you know, isn't really taking much consideration for what you're doing, right? I mean, if that's you. We need to move to a place where we're trading from a plan. We know the risk we're taking per trade, per week. Withdrawals need to be happening regularly. I mean, you need to be getting paid for this. You know, we're not doing this for free. So this is the kind of mindset shifts we're working on with people inside of BroFi. Not everyone's going to get there. There are no guarantees of results. You can lose all of your money, including inside of BroFi. That's absolutely for sure. You can. But this is what we're working toward with a lot of members. We've already seen this happen with a bunch of members inside of the group. It's $100 to join. If you want to get yourself inside, check it out with the live chat. Check it out with the link in the top of the description. Shout out to Peter in the live chat. Shouting out BroFi as well. You absolute legends. Check it out. Check it out. It's good stuff. But we move it back to the market here. We've covered what I think for resistance. I think we can break easily into the high 90s, low 100s. If we lose this level, you know, I'm open. We can set a new low at 84. We can set a new lower low in the 70s. None of this stuff concerns me. You know, falling down to 75K does put us down at a minus 40% correction, and it would be reasonable to expect that, because Bitcoin has always pulled off a 40% correction, at least, in every single bull market in its recorded history. It's always pulled off at least a 40% correction and subsequently recovered from it. So, you know, and again, that's another thing that I think is really kind of almost comedic here, is that, you know, we do have a lot of people getting really quite seriously bearish, but, you know, from levels that, I mean, are tolerated inside of bull markets. You know, and the only difference is that it feels scary now. Well, you can trade based off your feelings then. Fucking loser. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you can do. If that's what you want to do, go for it. You know, like, I'm not going to stop you. That's not my business. You know, but I don't want to make these trades based on feelings. I don't want to make these decisions based off. I'm going off the data. You know, the data is pretty clear to me. We're down by 36%. It's just not that bad. We've already done this, you know, a couple times, minus 32%. You know, we got the S&P in pretty good posture. If that works out for Bitcoin, we're getting a breakout. Look, we might be leading ourselves into a massive bear trap here where the price does still set a new low. I'm open to that. I think that's possible. But hey, let's get there first. You know, let's see what the market's looking like if we get there first, you know? Because, you know, things might change when we get here. That might be what we're poised to do right now. But let's say that drop initiates, but the market can only come down to 97K and then it smashes through resistance. Well, that's a great sign. You know, the real test is going to be 117, and I've been very clear with you guys about this. You know, if we get above 117, I think we're setting all-time highs, but anything below 117, we're still in potential, you know, extreme bearish territory, in my opinion. I don't think that the risk is that high. Don't get me wrong. I think that we're actually looking pretty good overall, but we're not out of the woods until we're above 117. You know, that's going to be the important level to look at. Let's take a quick scroll through a bunch of these key charts here. If you guys do have any questions, requests, now's the time to drop them in the live chat here. I'm going to be going through that live chat here with you guys in just a moment. If you guys aren't already following on X, go ahead and check us out on X. Much more content being posted over there. Free Telegram channel linked in the description as well. Check that out as well if you haven't done so already. But Bitcoin dominance here, just kind of moving sideways here. Nothing too crazy. Ethereum seems to be holding on to its gains for the most part against Bitcoin, which is pretty sweet. Litecoin taking a bit of a dip. Solana holding sideways here, which is less than ideal, but still okay. Obviously, you know, a bunch of other coins just doing various other flavors of shit or nothing particularly interesting, which is fine. I'm fine with that. I'm not too bothered. I like that Binance coin is holding very, very stable right now. That's actually pretty nice. It has gotten a nice kind of pullback here. You know, obviously I was kind of looking for this support zone here at about 8,000 Satoshi starting, but I don't know if we're going to get that at this stage. That doesn't look super likely anymore. But we could, and I would like to see it. So, yeah, to kind of look through the market here, you know, for the things that I'm seeing. Obviously, we're going to be back, you know, more or less daily now, now that we got the channel back. So, you know, obviously, make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on this content. But I'm probably going to be signing off here. Thank you all for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. Another live stream in the books here, and hopefully we get something a little bit more interesting on Bitcoin soon. We can have some more interesting and fun live streams here. Once again, it was nice when the market was moving, even though it was down. At least we were getting some movement. I would like to restart that again if it's all possible. But we'll do what the market gives us. What's key to watch? Is it Ethereum, BTC, Total 3, BTC.D charts? I think they're both very important. I mean, all three. I think all three of them are very important to watch. They all tell you different things, right? Ethereum BTC tells you the strength of Ethereum against Bitcoin. Total 3 tells you the strength of the market excluding majors. You know, and BTC.dominance tells us, you know, how much people are speculating on risky coins. So I think that they're all really important. That's my take. And I wouldn't want to choose one over the other. You don't need to. You do all three, you know. All right, guys. I'm probably going to round this one off here. Thank you all very much for tuning in. You know what to do. Smash up those likes, subscribe, tick the bell, all the good stuff, and we'll see you all in the next one.